please feel free at any point of this presentation to add your questions or concerns or statements to the chat section. As I navigate through this presentation, you will see an avatar of myself instead of a video. I tend to do this because I become very passionate and very animated when I present. I'm sure a nod to my theater background. And so I found it a little easier on the attendees if I just have an avatar up while you're able to really read the slides. Okay, just making sure y'all are still with me there. And so again, I want to thank you for the opportunity to discuss RU events, Black business, and Blacks Friday.
Ashley, you need to unmute your screen because for some reason we can't hear you.
How's that? Can you hear me?
Much better.
Yay! Oh no. Okay, well, let's back it up here a bit. Sorry for that, everyone. And thank you so much, Diane, for jumping in and letting me know because I was just going away there. So I think we're all tuned back in here with screen and audio. And so as I was saying with our title slide here, this presentation will be focused on economic empowerment for Black businesses. I want to thank you for the opportunity to not only discuss RU events and Black business, but also the Blacks Friday project. A little bit more about myself. So now as founder and owner of an event management company focused in diversity, equity, and inclusion, my main goals were to be able to represent those who tend to be underrepresented in these spaces. So as we're going to nonprofit fundraisers, community events, it was very important for me to serve as a bridge, a liaison with different communities, making sure that they were in the know about upcoming events, as well as fundraising opportunities. I work closely with community partners on strategic planning, particularly around diversity, equity, and inclusion. And so this has been a really strong service currently during these times because I'm able to pivot my business while being at home and being able to discuss consultation with these organizations and community leaders that are looking to address concerns within their own mission and values. I've built and implemented inclusive practices with nonprofits. I was the 2017 chair of ATC's Diversity and Inclusion Committee, also titled Dive In. Serving as their first chair for this committee in diversity and inclusion was such an honor. I was really able to do a number of deep dives into research and looking into the why we have such difficulty discussing race in America. Diversity in the Arts panelists at the Kennedy Center American College Theater Festival. And through facilitated organic dialogue, I tend to help discuss difficult questions and concerns about DEI initiatives. The theater. So many skills can be learned to help further your career. I was fortunate to have a live event experience for every matinee, evening show, gala, opening night, cast party. This helped mold my mindset into an organized collaboration and full embodiment of the show must go on. Stage management was my focus in college. The power of logistical planning, the best order of actions for the greatest outcome. I also learned to get rid of ego. There's no room for that when you have actors on stage. And problem solving, as well as empathy. Here is the goal of RU events. Events that immerse the community into collective culture. Here is a slide from Black Renaissance, one of the first community events I was able to be a part of and organize. Through Black Renaissance, our main initiative and goal was to spotlight local Black artists that may not be in local venues or may not be booking musical engagements. This was a beautiful partnership with not only Hotel McCoy, but a number of other artistic organizations, including management and marketing agency Brink. Here was a wonderful event called the Now Series, A Night Out With is the acronym. And here we are in the historic Barrio Viejo and Jerry Lee Ho Market. I had the idea of holding an event in this space that not only remembered and paid homage to its history, but also incorporated a historic element to it. So we were able to hold a presentation and discuss all of the Chinese history in Tucson, Arizona, as well as the Lee Ho family's history. And it was such a special opportunity to have the family join us. They had a passing in the family that week, and so all of Jerry Lee Ho's descendants were in town. And so they were able to come and see the space for the first time. The majority of them live in California, as well as learn more about their ancestors. This is a collaboration with the Jewish Foundation and Community Services. We had an amazing opportunity, Jewish Family Children Services, excuse that acronym. We had a beautiful opportunity of working with Flamexico. Chris Hakame from the Hakame family was such an instrumental force behind this event. Our main goal was to broaden JFCS's sphere of influence. They had their event, in the same location with a number of the same community members. And at this opportunity, we were truly able to open that sphere, to have the opportunity of having a number of community members involved. We had over 700 attendees for this event. And I was truly, it was just truly a pleasure to be able to be a part of such a large event at the Fox Theater with such a wonderful team. And we have Liz Hernandez there, who was one of my mentors and truly guided me as I was going through the early stages of the business. Here's another great example of RU events. Here we are at the Tucson Historic Preservation Foundation's Vintage Trailer Show. Also had an amazing opportunity to not only meet Gabriella Giffords, but also Captain Mark Kelly. We were here in a new space, again, bringing awareness to preservation on the Sunshine Mile, while also incorporating representation. So when I was able to be contracted for this, I really wanted to bring the faces of everyone during the modern era. And so a lot of the volunteers were either Black, Indigenous, or people of color to really represent what everyone looked like during that era. And it was well accepted. We had really great programming. And again, another great honor to be a part of this annual event. Here we are with Cultivate Tucson. I was able to partner with Cultivate Tucson this past spring. We were able to not only revitalize a space that's usually not used or open, but also open up to vendors. This is a concept of Kristen Tover, and I was so lucky to join the team last year to really be behind how all of this is built. How do you strategize? How are you making sure that everything is in code when it comes to fire? And we did have the fire marshal show up and be able to walk through safety plans and exit strategies. It was such a wonderful opportunity to be a part of something that all of the community comes out in support of small business as well. Again, Cultivate is a brand we have here in Tucson to truly be proud of. And this is the Night Out With series with Sigfus and IMU 360. Sigfus is a local brand that works with handmade earrings and jewelry. It is a woman-owned brand, and they also focus in diversity, equity, and inclusion. So it was a definite goal to be able to partner with a fellow business owner who also values diversity. Here at this event, our main goal was to fundraise. We had a hygiene drive for the nonprofit organization IMU 360. IMU 360 focuses on working with foster children or those who have graduated out of the foster system and helping provide them social tools and business and economic tools to better their future. And so as we were raising hygiene drives and funds for this nonprofit, it was just truly a beautiful scene to just see so many diverse individuals. The only thing and the only commonality we had was all dressing in Black and adorning ourselves with whatever jewelry made us feel really good inside. It was truly a moment of woman empowerment and localism. So here we are with consultation. So again, with COVID, it really did a hard pivot into RU events, live event section. And now we focused more into consultation, still aligning our mission and value. With the consultation, I focus on courageous conversation. This was created by Dr. Glenn Singleton, Pacific Educational Group. It's an award-winning protocol that effectively engages these courageous conversations around racial equity. And so this was started in 1992. So Dr. Singleton really jumped into these conversations early, especially after the Rodney King incident and brutality, to be able to further conversations about race, to be able to have conversations that were of a progressive mindset and where we could come to a certain common ground on how we can collectively move forward. So a lot of the diversity and equity and inclusion consultation I do is all focused in the work of Dr. Singleton, as well as a number of other wonderful influences, including Dr. Kendi, including D'Angelo. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. We see these buzzwords, you know, we tend to possibly lump them together, DEI or diversity, equity, inclusion. It's so important in the consultation that I do that we focus in on the terminology, because if we're able to truly know the terms, then we're really able to make actionable steps. And so with diversity, knowing that's defined as who we are, and knowing that equity is how we get there, and that inclusion is what we need in order to get there, is a way that I'm truly able to remind myself and separate these terms. Because again, as you're talking with people in your community, you want to be on the same page in conversation. So when you're talking about diversity, you're talking about individuals. And when you're talking about equity, you're talking about giving those underrepresented individuals access for opportunities that they may not have been given. Diverse demographics, intersectionality. So working in diversity, equity, and inclusion, it's good to be reminded that there's a number of demographics that are intersectioning. And so you must be aware that, yes, I might be focusing in on race primarily, but knowing that there's everything that weaves within that as well, including gender and sexual orientation. So as we move through society and our communities, especially when it comes to live events and representation and volunteering, is that we become inclusive in our mindset. We set aside biases and we truly see individuals as their diverse selves. The next steps that I give the majority of community leaders, business owners that I work with, is to involve your community. Again, pulling back to that value of transparency. If we know and we communicate, then there can be no misunderstandings if we're clear enough. Also encouraging dialogue. We know through EEOC that you're unable to really discuss anything like race or sexual orientation or ask any of that in an interview process. And so it's really delicate to know how to navigate and encourage dialogue without breaking any rules, as it were. And so I still say that encouraging dialogue can come through workshopping, can come through retreats, where you're able to really focus in on what you may want to improve. And then the gather of feedback. As you know, with my project management background and opportunity of working in Metro Downtown Tucson partnership, it's so important to get the data. It's so important to get the metrics laid out, because then you can see where you can work on things or where things are working well. So these are generally the 3 steps I tend to glean towards my community partners as well as clients. Black business. Emancipation and civil rights permitted businessmen to operate inside the American legal structure. By 1890s, thousands of small business operations had opened in urban areas. The most rapid growth came in the early 20th century as the increasingly rigid Jim Crow system of segregation moved Black people into a community large enough to support a business establishment. In 1905, Blacks began to buy land on Greenwood Avenue. This road evolved into the center of Black Wall Street, from Robin Walker, The Rise and Fall of Black Wall Street. By 1920, there were tens of thousands of Black businesses. There were some locations like Black Wall Street, Tulsa, Oklahoma, which thrived. I bet you're wondering right now, when did this turn into a history lesson? Why are we looking at black and white photos from turn of the century and Jim Crow era? The reason why is because this is what's behind the Black Friday Project. It's knowing our Black business history and knowing how far we came after slavery and still the challenges that we had to face during Jim Crow. The Black Wall Street Massacre took place on May 31st and June 1st of 1921, when mobs of white residents, many of them deputized and given weapons by city officials, attacked Black residents and businesses of the Greenwood District in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It has been called the single worst incident of racial violence in American history. The attack, carried out on the ground and from a private aircraft, destroyed more than 35 square blocks of the district, at that time the wealthiest Black community in the United States. The massacre began during the Memorial Day weekend after 19-year-old Dick Rowland, a Black shoe shiner, was accused of assaulting Sarah Page, a 17-year-old white elevator operator. He was taken into custody. After the arrest, rumors spread through the city that Dick Rowland was to be lynched. Upon hearing reports that a mob of hundreds of white men had gathered around the jail where Dick Rowland was being kept, a group of 75 Black men, some of whom were armed, arrived at the jail with the intention of helping to ensure Dick Rowland would not be lynched. The sheriff persuaded the group of Black men to leave the jail, assuring that he had the situation under control. As the group of Black men were leaving the premises, complying with the sheriff's request, a member of the mob of white men attempted to disarm one of the Black men. Shots were fired. 6,000 residents hospitalized, approximately 300 dead. "600 businesses, 21 churches, 21 restaurants, 30 grocery stores, 2 movie theaters, 6 private planes, a hospital, a bank, a post office, schools, libraries, law office, and a bus system. Lost. From the ashes and rebuilding, we have historic Black business people like John H. Johnson. He was the founder of the publishing company in 1942. He rose from poverty to become a millionaire when he was 31. In 1982, he became the first African American to appear on the 400. Johnson's ebony and among the most influential African American media by 1950. Also to note, Rosa Meta Morgan founded the House of Beauty Salon to promote African American standards of beauty in opposition to those that may have been standards at the time. In 1965, she founded New York City's only Black commercial bank, National. These names up because they are the pioneers that I look to in Black entrepreneurship, the resiliency against all odds, all opposition, still striding forward. Here's a graph pulled from the Stanford Institute for Economic Policy Research, 2017. Even though Black businesses were gaining momentum and even coming out of the economic collapse of 2007 to 2009, they still fall short when it comes to capital investments. And we find this in startup and small business. As you can see in the graph, indicated with a dotted line and the years of startup, Black businesses don't tend to get much capital investment. We are considered risky, unscalable. And so in knowing this, many Black business owners tend to rely upon savings that they've saved up for business, looking up to their friends and family members, looking at any bootstrapping they can do towards capital investment into their own business. This is something, again, that we look to change. We look to shift the paradigm and the injustice of economic support when it comes to Black businesses. COVID-19. As we all know, businesses have truly been affected worldwide by the COVID-19 effects, as well as here locally, a lot of our restaurant industries falling into closing, as well as other businesses. Here nationally, and as of April 2020, the US has nearly lost 450,000 active African American business owners. And this data was pulled in April. And so I'm really looking forward to upcoming data pulled in this summer to see where we are, because I'm always staying hopeful that we won't lose any more Black businesses. And so here is where they were able to pull that information. According to the National Bureau of Economic Research, the findings are alarming. The number of African American business owners plummeted from 1.1 million in February 2020 to 640,000 in April. The loss of 440,000 Black business owners, representing 41%. And that's a quote from NBER. After their research, this is where the Washington Post as well pulled their data. And you can see the reason why we put so much emphasis on Black businesses. Whenever you hear that, why not all? Why are we just focusing on race and specific business owners? It's because of the need, knowing that we're collectively all together, but seeing the injustices when it comes to economic support, when it comes to being able to thrive with employees and build your own brick and mortar, even the opportunity of taking credit out or being able to take a business loan. Here's some updated data. Groupon and National Black Chamber of Commerce survey of more than 400 Black small business owners found that 75% have seen an increase in business since protests sparked by the murder of George Floyd. 80% said they face more challenges launching their business due to their race. 74% said they've had fewer opportunities due to a lack of capital investment. 76% of Black-owned businesses said they were negatively impacted by COVID-19, but only 5% of those that applied for Paycheck Protection Program loan received one. So we're seeing, yes, it's great to see support and to see people come out and recognize Black businesses. There's also this horrible feeling of it took the murder of this young man to bring awareness nationally to the injustice that happens with systemic issues. And so it is a double-edged sword, and we hope to follow more up in progress and how we're building, especially the resiliency during these times. Okay, let's all just take a moment to breathe. If you'll indulge me, especially with presentations like this where they go a little bit longer, I'd love for us just to take a moment to breathe together. So if you want to stand up or sit where you are with your eyes closed, I ask that you inhale through your nose deeply and hold. Exhale through the mouth and hold. Let's do it again together. Inhale through your nose. Hold. Exhale through the mouth and hold. This is box breathing. It's a reckoning tool that we use to stay with the emotion instead of offloading it, and by way cultivating calm. And so now that we can breathe a bit, shake it and stretch a moment, we'll continue on with the presentation. Here's a quote from one of my favorite Black businessmen. I believe in destiny, but I also believe that you can't just sit back and let destiny happen. A lot of times an opportunity might fall into your lap, but you have to be ready for that opportunity. You can't sit there waiting on it. A lot of times you are going to have to get out there and make it happen. 40 Acres and a Mule, FilmWorks CEO Spike Lee. Blacks Friday. The hashtag Blacks Friday was created to take away emphasis from using Black as a discount code via Black Friday. Images that we would see of people fighting over goods in large department stores just made us sick as a community. Again, another term used for a derogatory outcome. Even though economically we all know that being in the Black is good, Black being used in other words and phrases maybe not so good. And so we wanted to take back Black Friday and making it Blacks Friday. And in turn, we created Blacks Friday, where people can shop at Black-owned businesses. Inspired by Khalil Knight, creator of hashtag Black Friday, and the Blacks and founder of KP Mad Men, we started to share this hashtag. And so back in 2019, KP, Khalil, he had an opportunity, an idea of having hashtag Blacks Friday. And every time we shopped at a Black-owned business or we ate at a Black-owned restaurant, we spotlighted them on social media, sharing photos of the food or goods or services while all using the hashtag Blacks Friday. Project management. So as we are going into the Blacks Friday project, our first meeting was March 2020. And so I reach out to Sean Louis and Black Renaissance, Blacks, Curated Color, Creative Collabs, and Pinnacle Marketing Consultant for a discussion on how we can turn our social posts into an accessible directory, website, app, online virtual event, all within a month. At first, it was met with, okay, maybe, we'll see. But then on May 25th, 2020, we all watched as Mr. George Floyd was murdered. Collectively, we witnessed the disregards for human life and the injustices that followed. When our Black Friday team members met that week, we were given more inspiration than ever before to make sure that at least our local community leaders and business owners were being recognized. The word action was mentioned numerous times during our Zoom call. We kept going, okay, we're meeting, but it's time for action. This sounds like a great plan, but when are we gonna implement it? And as the project moved into overdrive, we made sure to meet our goals within 4 weeks leading into the Black's Friday Night Live event. And so now with project management, one of my services and skills in hand, I'm faced with how to manage a team virtually. We know that in project management, communication is key. And so one of the first things I needed to do was to make sure I was in tune with the team. So we had weekly Zoom meetings. I had a shared Gantt chart that I shared with the team members showing progress week to week. One of the shortest Gantt charts, by the way. I'm used to using Gantt charts for 9 months to 12 months out. And here we had it by weeks and looking at what all we could accomplish within those weeks. We also depended upon group text and Messenger on Facebook and Instagram. All of these tools help to connect us at any point of the strategy. The greatest part of this process, I must admit, was being able to access the team members electronically as soon as things were developing. Things were moving so fast in our timeline that in able to stay updated, we needed constant communication to build. The phases of Black Friday. So first, phase 1, we need an accessible directory. So a number of the hashtag Black Friday businesses we had on social media, they were scattered across Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And so our first goal was collectively getting all of those businesses into an accessible directory. Second phase, website and app. While using the accessible directory, giving ourselves momentum, giving ourselves going above and beyond the original goal of going, okay, we have a directory, but can we in turn, in the time, turn this into an active website and app? And then in phase 3, the online event. This will be a very fun venture because it's going to be virtual. And so how do you go about setting up your first virtual event, especially geared around business? Let's look at our timeline. March 29th, 2019, the hashtag was created. This was created by KP, and along with myself and Michaela, who's an HR professional, we shared photos and hashtags across social media. On May 18th, 2020, we had our first hashtag Black Friday project meeting. And on June 2nd, 2020, we released our accessible list of Black businesses live. I'll talk a little bit more about this in some upcoming slides, but believe me, as a project manager at heart, my heart was just throbbing going, we're going to release an unfinished document. We're going to release an unfinished Google sheet where they can see us misspelling some businesses and fixing some names or contact information. And it became important to do so because we were looking for that community inclusivity and having the community be a part of building this site as well. And then on June 12th, 2020, we were able to launch the Black Friday website. June 19th, a week later, the Black Friday app. And then that following Friday, the Black Friday Night Live event. Here's a screenshot of that accessible directory. So this just gives you an idea of what we were putting out there in a very, just vulnerable state. A lot of the links at first were broken, and we were just very transparent and going, hey, this is for us, and we're working on it, and if you see anyone we're missing or you see incorrect information, please let us know. And so we'll update it. And what a beautiful, inclusive opportunity to work with the community. I made a joke on Twitter during this process in June. We had 99 plus viewers on the live link alone. A number of our community members shared the link on social media, added their link to their websites and social media platforms. And so it took the community to really push this initiative out, and I thank them for it. We took that accessible directory and turned it into a PDF directory that we wanted to safely share via email and social, especially thinking of all demographics and thinking of some of our older community members who may not be as savvy with links and social media, but just miss a page of information for them to look up. And so we definitely did this with that community in mind, and just put it all in one PDF in this first draft that we shared. The next step of the website, a true milestone. Historically, we've had a number of websites that have started here in Tucson representing Black-owned businesses, but the last updated one was in the early 2000s. And so whenever you would want to go to join or look to find specifically Black-owned businesses, it became a challenge unless you were on social media. And so again, this goal of making a web page, an opportunity and a home for businesses who may not have their own website. Website fees and hosting fees and consulting fees for websites can get truly expensive as you go from year to year as a business owner. And honestly, one of the first things you cut when you're looking at expenses that you can go without. And so we've seen, across the board, a number of Black businesses decide to forego their websites and building up a free social media page. And so this also serves as a second home for those businesses. If they're not able to start that website yet, then they're able to claim a page or add a new listing on our site and have it serve as their website. And then we wanted to reach for the stars. So I threw this out there in a meeting, and I'm always just throwing out, things that are dreams and hoping they may manifest into reality. The dream of having an app, a mobile, accessible opportunity. And so as we started to discuss the build of an app, I was honored to be introduced to a young U of A alum who works in technology and works with the capabilities of app development. After a long conversation with him, and now team member, I just really expressed to Robert the ongoing need for representation, the need to no longer say we don't know. And if there's a website and if there's a PDF directory, surely an app can take us, over that finish line. So now we have accessibility across the board. If you need to find a Black-owned business in Arizona, you'll be able to find one on our app. And so we launched. And with the app, within that very first launch day, we had over 20 reviews, mostly saying, thank you. This is something I've been looking for. I've lived here for X amount of years and had no idea there were so many businesses here. I look forward to patronizing these businesses as well as sharing my experience. That was the answer we were looking for. We were looking for the continual feedback that this is a tool that now we can use in technology to access these businesses. Black's Friday Night Live. As an event planner, this was one of the first things on the list. And in full transparency, it was before the website. It actually came right after the accessible list. I was like, and the Black's Friday Night Live event, and then saw in goal pattern and project phases that, of course, this would be our cherry on the top at the finish line to do it near the end as a goal. And so on June 26th, we launched our Black Friday Night Live event. Here's what this event meant to me and why it was so special to myself and the team. Our goal was to break the long Zoom event fatigue. We all tend to do an hour to 2-hour events. And if a number of organizations are doing that long of events, then it becomes just so tiresome on the attendee. So off the bat, we wanted to break down barriers and molds and say, we're gonna do this in 30 minutes, a half-hour live show. And so off the bat, we definitely wanted to make sure that it was short enough to keep the attention of the audience while supplying very instinctive information that can help local community members and businesses. A part of the Black Friday Night Live event, not only were we able to showcase upcoming updates, 2 hosts that were transitioning through each scene, but also being able to hold a pitch competition, Pitch Blacks. With Pitch Blacks, we asked interested Black business owners to present their service, their goods, or even an upcoming grand opening or idea in 1 minute, a true elevator pitch. And so we're challenging the businesses to be able to communicate and convey their mission and values while also keeping the audience entertained as this fast-paced program is going on. It proved to be very beneficial. We had some polling done for the Pitch Blacks competition. And you can see here, the polling was again interaction for the event, giving them something to do during the event as well as after the event to feel a part of whoever will win the cash prize as the Pitch Black winner. And so we had these polls, these screenshots were taken early on. And so after tallying up everything, our winner was Barbie's Love for Lashes. And Miss Barbie Hines really embodies the next generation of a Black entrepreneur. She's a mother, she's a solopreneur. She was able to secure her own kiosk at the Tucson Mall, where she's able to showcase her product of eyelashes that she selects and picks from a wholesaler and is able to brand herself and package. And so we were completely behind her Pitch Black video that she sent in. Her Pitch Black's video was so upbeat, it was so colorful, and you can just see the passion in the young entrepreneur's eyes. So we were very proud to award her the cash prize, which we hope help buy more product or just sustain, utilities during this time. This was another milestone of ours to meet, and we were surely happy to be able to congratulate Barbie on that. Here's our first graphic of Black Friday by the numbers as of the first month of June 30th. So after we officially launched with the list on June 2nd, this is just capturing what happened during that month. So we were able to log 292 total Black businesses. So there's your number as of June. So you can go back and look at what you guessed, see how close you got. Also noting we had 2.1 thousand website users with over 3,000 sessions, keeping in mind that this is all within the first month. And so this was the type of traffic we were seeing just in the first 2 weeks of launching the website. 488 app downloads, 1.2 thousand Instagram followers, and 10.1 thousand reach. We had an opportunity to partner with Visit Tucson. And with Visit Tucson, they offered us to do an IG takeover, an Instagram takeover. So we had 2 of our team members from the Black Friday team be able to just spotlight a number of businesses through live video, as well as recorded video and interviews. And during that takeover, we reached 10,000 people. And then with the Black Friday Night Live, we had 111 live attendees. And let me tell you, on virtual level, to have 100 people tuning in at the same time for a short amount of time, it was truly a milestone met. And then we had 2.2Ks overall as views of people who were watching the video after the event. Community partners make initiatives truly move forward. I'm a huge advocate of collaboration. As you know, that's one of my values. I truly believe in building a root. And so I definitely wanted to apply those same values to our resiliency and continual build of Black's Friday. So we were able to partner with Hotel Congress and Hotel McCoy through a hospitality collaboration. Through this hospitality collaboration, we were able to spotlight a Black-owned business weekly, and they would share it across all of their platforms collectively. When we started our first week, we then had Hotel Tucson City Center join on, AC Hotel Tucson, as well as Visit Tucson and sharing Black-owned businesses. We know that by sharing a specific business or pulling spotlight and focus can give some brands some flack, could give some brands losing followers. The one thing that the community partners focused on was how important it was to align themselves with being both anti-racist and supporting Black lives and Black businesses. And so they felt that if they did lose some followers during this process, then they were going to lose them eventually, because they don't see this as a trend or performative. They see this as a continual effort. Some of our newer community partners, again, being able to partner with AC Hotel and Hub, we were able to be a part of the 10 weeks, 10 ways to love our city. And so I'm sure as Tucsonans, many of you have seen the beautiful mural by Jessica Gonzalez that is downtown, saying Tucson together. So we were listed as one of the community partners in the 10 here that you can purchase a shirt and proceeds will go to us. Again, this is just another beautiful way of being able to raise funds to push the project forward. And most recently, we've also partnered with Why I Love Where I Live. They're doing a beautiful initiative with these postcards that were designed by a Phoenix designer. And half of proceeds, or a percentage of proceeds, will be going towards the Black Friday project, while still building awareness that we are in this together and that together we can move forward. Empowered. So Empowered is a wonderful opportunity that's happening to our Black entrepreneurs in Phoenix. So in Phoenix, they're doing a number of workshops, 12 weeks of entrepreneurs pitching, how to do a proper ask, how to work on your lean canvas or your business plan, all of this gearing towards a larger national pitch competition that we will be partnering with Phoenix on to work on this fall. So that's still hush hush. You're getting a little sneak peek on what's coming for Black Friday this fall, but we'll definitely looking at building with Phoenix. Let's look at some new numbers. As of July 30th, 301 Black businesses in Tucson and growing. So definitely check your number out now. And I'm sure when we have our By the Numbers this month, we'll have some new numbers for you as well. We're continuing to look at our website and our app. Looking at the website now has about 5.7 and 610 on the app downloads, as well as pointing out adding Phoenix with a 600 number there. And we are still growing. We're really hoping to be able to have represented on the app as an internal goal, all 600 plus businesses by the end of this year. So our goal for December is to have all of those businesses listed in Phoenix and counting. One of our first goals for this month is to at least hopefully get 300. And now looking into the timeline of resiliency. So on July 10th, we started our resiliency plan. And then July 31st, we started to incorporate Black businesses from Phoenix on the app. We will the website for Tucson only at this time, and really pushing the data of Black-owned businesses of Phoenix towards the app. August 1st, we started our very first resources weekly email. So a number of different resources, from grants to workshopping to business advice, has started to be organized and sent out weekly to our Black business owners. Again, bridging this gap of communication. So if they don't know about a grant, they're not able to apply for it, or if they don't know about a job opportunity in contracting, they're not able to set up that RFP. And then August 11, 2020, we have the Phoenix Empowered Community Partner Launch, which I just discussed, and then our goal in the fall for that virtual pitch contest. Another goal in the winter of 2020, because of the project management background, I'm hoping to provide a report. I'm hoping to get some data and some percentages and information about specifically Black businesses, not only in Tucson, but also in Arizona as a whole, so that we can really start to look at what we can do to be impactful in our community. Black's Friday Resiliency Plan. Our mission, to shine a spotlight on local Black businesses. We have to be really clear with our mission because there are a number of initiatives, especially now, that are all helping towards Black lives, Black awareness, and Black resiliency. And so it was very important for us to spotlight Black businesses specifically so that we can truly do something manageable and attainable in goals. Milestones. Accessible list, website and app, live event, Pitch Black's award winner. Our 2020 to 2021 plan, Black's Friday website and app sustainability. And through this sustainability are the community partnerships that I mentioned before. We have a very low cost when it comes to our monthly fee for our website and app development. And my goal is to at least secure 2 years of funding to make sure that these milestones stay set, that we don't fall backwards into not being connected to BIPOC businesses. Package resources for accountable business. So we talked about the email, but we're also starting to collaborate with organizations like Tucson Urban League, as well as NAACP, looking at what other package resources can we specifically offer accountable business. And when I say accountable, we're looking for businesses that are serious about sustaining, serious about building their brand and putting in the finance and the time to do such. And then as I dreamed about the app, of the one day getting together to do a Black business mixer. The hope of doing a Black business mixer in IRL, as we say, in real life, is very slim, but there are hopes of doing something virtually very soon. And now I'm going to end this presentation, this last 5 minutes, with really focusing in on the Black's Friday team. Again, I would not be able to do any of the project lead or project management without a strong team that has been sourced by their skills, knowing what they're strong at and how they would like to incorporate those skills in the project. Here's Khalil, the gentleman that I mentioned earlier, who created the hashtag Black's Friday and started this whole movement and building a project with us to be able to make it virtual and sustainable. KP is a creative design entrepreneur. He owns KP Madman. It's a design thinking based marketing company. And he is local here in Tucson. He's also a DJ at Black's Radio. Sean Louis. Sean Louis is a local artist and musician. He's also the senior curator of Black Renaissance, a collective that highlights Black artists in Arizona through technology and live immersive events. Again, an opportunity to work with Sean Louis, as I had worked with him on the first Black Renaissance, was a beautiful chance that he was available to be a part of this project as well. From Curated Color is a motivational networking professional. She founded Curated Color as a bi-monthly Nosh and Net event for young professionals to build and exchange and connect locally. Definitely a young entrepreneur with her eye on the prize on how we're connecting in our communities. Terrell Henry, co-founder of Creative Collabs, a community organization providing spaces for creatives to socialize, showcase, and network through professional and social relationships. Terrell Henry has been instrumental to the social media part of Black Friday. He started the Black Friday Instagram account that had thousands of followers within a few weeks it launched, as well as building the Facebook page for Black Friday, and shares a lot of community initiatives and outreach. Cruz from Cruz Photos. So Cruz is a veteran, and he learned and the passion for photography as he was going through different countries and continents. And so he really came on to do some of the community outreach for videotaping some of our business owners' pitch. And here's Robert. Robert's a technologist who works with community partners to bring technology to the conversation, and a U of A grad working on similar things there as he's launched his own startup selling software to universities. Akil Hamid. Akil is the CEO of Pinnacle Marketing Consulting, a digital marketing and design agency primarily supporting nonprofit and healthcare organizations. He was truly instrumental in building our website so quickly, being able to take the data and have his team work on it so fast to be able to have these pages go live instantly. He's also the owner of Studio Ashe. And finally, as I wrap up, again, we are so proud to be able to start to build bridges. Tucson Urban League of Young Professionals and Tucson Young Professionals being able to partner in together on a CEO roundtable that featured us. A very diverse screen, all of inspired young entrepreneurs, small business owners, looking to shape Tucson. We have goals of partnership moving forward. We know better, so we can do better. Tucson Urban League Young Professionals and Tucson Young Professionals partnering on this virtual roundtable inspires the B2B partnerships to come and aligning industries across Tucson and Arizona. That's community. That's Tucson. Thank you. And please, if you have any questions, put those in the chat. I'm going to stop sharing screen and be able to connect with you in person here, or virtually in person.
Thanks, Ashley.
Thank you.
We have one question so far about, can you give us more details on how you coordinated the Black's pitch?
Yes, so after we were able to establish the directory at that point, we were really starting to email interested business owners. Firstly, we wanted to see who may have already pre-existing video and content to share and shape down to a minute. And also those who were looking to have more marketing exposure, who may not have technology, cameras, or experience to record their own commercial, as it were. And so we first went to those who wanted to do it. And then we narrowed down to those who were ready to do it. And we had a total of 10 Black Friday participants that were able to show their videos. And then we awarded one of them.
Nice. Another question is a good question. What are some of your favorite tools that you use to keep you so on track and visible?
Ooh, tools. I love Canva. The presentation today was in Canva. I'm a huge Canva fan if you're trying to do your own marketing and branding or any type of social media posts. Other tools include Asana. Asana is a digital project management tool for scheduling, especially if you have many team members. You're able to really share across the board with Asana. And then I think my favorite one I can't live without is Google Calendar. I mean, especially now, more so than ever, I got to keep all these Zoom meetings organized and what time they start.
For sure. Yeah, I agree. Canva is very cool to use. I like it for all kinds of things. Let's see. Here we go. Are there any plans to develop additional mentoring for entrepreneurs?
Yes. So we, again, community partners. We're so lucky to be able to be connected with organizations such as Startup Tucson, who hosted one of our first town halls, a Black Business Town Hall. And so they're going to be continual in their efforts of connecting mentorship and coaching. And then again, through our resources email, anytime a fellow business owner who may be a coach or a consultant, we're also sharing that information across the board and being like, make sure you check out a workshop or make sure that you know that they have these tools available.
All right. And looks like maybe one more question. Can you talk a little bit more about your plans for mixers, future mixers, I suppose?
Yes. So I've been doing a lot of virtual research and I feel like it's changing and evolving from month to month. And so I do have a dream of doing a virtual mixer, and I already have a few software plans and platforms to use. Again, I'm just trying to connect across the screen. And so that first mixer, hopefully in the fall or winter of this year, will most likely be virtual. And then when we're all meeting again, I'd love to go into a partner space like Hotel Congress or AC and get us all together and mixing and mingling. Again, specifically for Black business owners, but like all of my events, they're inclusive. And so if there are people there who are looking to help or looking to guide other Black business owners, then they are more than welcome to join the mixer. But our focus will be connecting these business owners with resources.
Cool. And the response to your comment was awesome. Start to build an inclusive ecosystem.
That's right.
Right. Another question is, during this time of intense keyboard courage, how do you keep a safe space for FOLX?
Folks.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
thank you.
exactly. Yeah, that's a really great question. I'm a huge advocate of the queer community. I'm a Black queer woman myself. I'm also in a heterosexual marriage. So I'm always kind of throwing some of my queer friends for a loop too, who assume that I might be heterosexual. I'm a member of the LGBT Chamber of Commerce. And so I'm very aware of setting up safe spaces. And so when we did that first Black Renaissance at Hotel McCoy is already a local safe place for the LGBTQ community. So that put us in great footing to know off the bat, you're welcome. And as soon as you come here, we will treat you no different than anyone else that is here for this experience. And so I hope that follows me through my brand and knowing that any events that I'm associated with, that's high priority to make sure they're safe for all folks.
Okay, another question. If someone would like to volunteer or get involved, what is the contact information?
Yes, so please, you can reach out directly if you want to be involved with the Blacks Friday Project at info@blacksfriday.com. If you're interested in working with RU Events on upcoming initiatives, projects, or programs, you can email me directly at ru@rueventsllc.com, and I'll be sure to drop those in the chat as well, so that we can stay in contact. And I really look forward to anyone that's interested in volunteering or being a part of these programs.
All right, I lied. We have another question. Can you talk about a time you have experienced an accountability failure, either yourself or one of your team members, and how you got back on track?
So yes, a number, and I won't be too specific, but being from the theater world, live theater, and being a stage manager, there's been a number of situations with accountability with crewmen or crew women, crew people, where they wouldn't show up or they would be running late, after a dinner break. And so you have to go into that critical thinking and problem solving. It's automatically, it's like, okay, what happens if they don't show up? Let's call our backup. Okay, I'll do his or her moves first, you know, and then so you have to kind of build out that plan to keep the show. The show must go on. And I apply that across even my business now, accountability. You know, I think I had one of an independent contractor that, you know, tended not to want to be involved near the end of the event. And so I needed to strategically plan how we could continue the event, even though we're missing one of our team members.
And is this app available for Android?
Oh, I'm so sorry. No, not yet. Not yet. It's only for Apple at this point, but we are encouraging our Android users to take the website and add it to your home screen. And so just by clicking that home screen icon, you're able to access the website's businesses. So at this time, we're only on iOS, but hopefully if we build up and build strong, we'll be able to get into Androids.
Those darn Android users. Just kidding.
We love you.
I'm kidding. No. All right, great. I don't see any more questions in the chat. If you have any last words of wisdom for us all, we'll take it.
Love each other. Just love each other and have patience.
Definitely. Well, thank you, Ashley. Really appreciate you presenting for us. There's lots of comments in the chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Great job. Yeah, so if you have a second, if you want to put your contact info in the chat,
You got it.
that would be great. Otherwise, we'll hang on for a few more minutes here until you do that. Oh, you have a new Instagram follower, says.
Yay!
That's Sierra Horsey. She works at the Reed Park Zoo.
Oh, I love Reed Park. Oh, now
Yeah.
I'm missing the parks.
Me too.
No, I truly just want to thank again all the attendees that were able to stay along with us for the ride. I know that was a long one and a lot of information, but I hope you enjoyed it. And again, if you have any questions or want to know where we are in the process currently, feel free to email me.
Those numbers that you posted, do you post those somewhere, or is it just your own personal
We do.
information?
Well, we post it on social media as well as through email, but I would be happy to share the link or share that with anyone who wants to see it.
Okay.
Want me to send it your way?
Sure. Thank
Happy
you.
to.
Anybody? I feel like if I missed anyone, I don't think so.
We did good. We didn't go overtime.
I know. Perfect. Did you get it? Do you feel like we gave you enough time to do your presentation? Okay.
Definitely. Thank you.
Very good.
I see Jen. Hi, Jen.
Hi. I know my kids have been running in and out, so I've been off video, on video. I just wanted to say hi. It's good to see you.
Good to see
Good to
you
see
too.
quite a few faces. Yeah. I know I loved your TYP shot the other night. That was great. You know, I was too old by the time I got around to finally looking at joining. Yeah, Ben Korn, once he started it, and he and I talked, we had a good laugh about him getting kicked out too. And he started it.
Oh, man.
He's been one of our sponsors of SAVMA, so he's a great guy. Yeah, that group cracks us up.
They're going
We have
strong.
quite a few folks here that, yeah, no, that group has really grown. And in fact, we should probably touch base with TYP and see where we have some symmetry with SAVMA again. That would be a good one. Yeah. Thank you. All right. I'll see you. I'm sure I'll see you online.
Yes.
Happy quarantine.